Well, there's no positive way to spin what happened tonight for the Golden State Warriors on national television in front of the ABC crowd. The Golden State Warriors dropped an ugly game at Chase Center to the Los Angeles Lakers, 109-103, in a game that highlighted everything that's just going wrong with the Golden State Warriors this year, and a lot of things that are preventable, a lot of mistakes that should have been corrected by now. We're going to break down what went wrong. I'm also going to try and answer every question possible pertaining to Gary Payton II, in just an embodiment of so much ugliness going on with the Golden State Warriors this season. A moment of beauty, a moment of positivity is now marred. But I personally think everything's going to come out fine in that regard. I'll answer all your questions regarding Gary Payton II. We'll talk about that ugly Warriors loss tonight at Chase Center to the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll break it all down next. Right? Yes, next. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. Tonight's episode, is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Twitter at DogSurferOcho. I apologize for the late start. I actually started about 10 minutes ago and nothing was going on. I was just talking to an audience of zero. So I'm glad things are working now. This is a Saturday night live edition of Locked On Warriors. For people expecting Kylan Mills, she apologizes. She had to bow out last minute. She reportedly was not feeling good. That's what she told me. So it's not reportedly. That's what she said. But because the situation regarding Gary Payton II is not resolved yet, we're planning on hopefully doing another show tomorrow. We're really hoping that the Gary Payton II decision will be finalized not during the Super Bowl, hopefully. And then Kylan and I will host yet another bonus episode tomorrow. So we're going to have a Saturday show. We're going to have a Sunday show and a bunch of shows next week. But we got to first talk about this game tonight. This was absolutely brutal. This was absolutely despicable. This was not a game, in my humble opinion, that the Golden State Warriors should have lost. Even though Stephen Curry was not playing, neither was LeBron James. And I'm sorry, but this Warriors team, as the reigning defending world champions, if they can't survive without Stephen Curry against a Lakers team who's missing LeBron James, there are serious issues going on here. And it's top to bottom in terms of everything that went wrong tonight. Let's see what's going on in the chat first, because I don't want to jump right into one of my biggest peeves that's going on right now. No Cap, who I believe routinely is critical of Jordan Poole, saying that Poole is great. I totally agree. Jordan Poole actually started the game 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. He turned things around in a hurry. The only reason why the Warriors were in this game, sorry, get him a water here, was because of Jordan Poole. 29 points. Again, after that horrible start from beyond the arc, he finished 3 of 5 from deep. Went 3 for 10 total, shot 30%, not horrible. But again, 29 points, 6 assists, doing the best damn job possible filling in for Stephen Curry. And I'm sorry, it was not his fault that the Warriors lost this game. You could point the finger to Klay Thompson, who in 36 minutes of play only had 15 points. He was only 3 of 13 from deep. He had an awful game tonight, very inconsistent. Just was missing clutch shots. But I don't want to I don't want to blame him too much. I've noticed, at least on social media tonight, a lot of negativity geared toward Klay Thompson. He's been having an incredible run since the start of the season. Bad night tonight, yes, but this hasn't been the norm for him recently. Jonathan Kuminga only played 14 minutes. Why? Does someone in the chat have an answer for me in that regard? Why did Jonathan Kuminga only play 14 minutes tonight? I don't get that. All right. And I guess I'll just jump right into it. Why did Ty Jerome play 18 minutes tonight? There was a stretch in the fourth quarter All right. And this is just really starting to just get to me because he is not leading this team to success. The Golden State Warriors at the 56 game mark of the regular season are 28-28. They're an even 500. This team much more resembles the 2021 version, a team that finished 39-33 only because they won their last 6 games when Steph Curry went on an absolute heater. But otherwise, that's what this team reminds me of. Ty Jerome was not on last year's team. He's on this year's team. I'm sorry, but when the difference is him, I'm going to look at him and wonder, why do you keep playing this guy? And there was a stretch in the fourth quarter where the Warriors, from the 501 mark to the 134 mark, did not score a single bucket. During the first half of that stretch, Ty Jerome was responsible for 11 straight Lakers points, thanks in large part to horrible defense on D'Angelo Russell. All D'Angelo Russell was doing was constantly just making his way to the paint, practically unimpeded. He had no difficulties going wherever he wanted tonight. And D'Angelo Russell in his first game, I believe, I hope I get that part right, as a member of the Lakers again, 35 minutes, 15 points, 50% shooting from the field. And that Rory Hachimura 3 was the result of one of those plays. D'Angelo breaking down the defense, easily making his way in. He missed his shot, but they got an offensive rebound, kicked the ball out to Rory. They hit a 3. Again, 11 straight buckets. And those were momentum-shifting buckets. So Ty Jerome is getting 18 minutes in this game. 18. And meanwhile, Jonathan Kuminga, one of the few bright spots for this team this year, only gets 14 minutes of play. And those meager 14 minutes, 5 points, 3 rebounds. JaMychal Green, I thought, was playing fantastic tonight. He's another player that you could possibly say is maybe a bit of a positive for this team, especially lately since he came back from the right leg infection and fighting COVID. And he had kind of a rough start to the year trying to fit in, understanding the system. He's got the wrist injury, so his three-point shot is just something that the team just can't really rely on. But he gives you size. He gives you rebounding. And he gives you easy baskets offensively, either with putback dunks or just layups. He's a smart player who's doing his job, and he only gets 19 points tonight, or 19 minutes tonight. In those 19 minutes, by the way, scores 11 points, grabs 5 rebounds. But no, Steve Kerr needs Ty Jerome in there for 18 minutes. Ty Jerome did not get pulled out of the game until 3 minutes and change in the fourth quarter. This was when the Lakers were starting to run where they eventually pulled away. Ty Jerome was in the game until, I believe, I'm trying to look up the play-by-play stats right now for when Andrew Wiggins finally came in the game for him. And during that time, again, he's getting eviscerated defensively, doing virtually nothing offensively. I'm sick and tired of the excuse of lack of turnovers being the reason for him playing. This team does not win with him, plain and simple. And this is again another failing on Steve Kerr in the sense of just for some reason loving this kid, Ty Jerome, who I'm not advocating for cutting at all. But what I am advocating for is benching his ass because you have better players on this roster. Jonathan Kuminga is better. JaMychal Green is better. They provide more of a service for a small team that needs rebounding, that needs inside scoring, but you bench them. I don't understand it. Dante DiVincenzo tonight played 26 minutes. Maybe play him 35 minutes. That's 9 minutes that Ty Jerome should be giving up to Dante DiVincenzo. Andrew Wiggins played 31 minutes tonight. Why is he playing 31 and Jordan Poole and Claire playing 36, 37? Give him 5 more minutes if you're going to be burning your veterans instead of playing Ty Jerome. It's infuriating what's going on here. My Lord, man, I just do not get this at all. And I'm sorry for being riled up about it, but this is a game they should not have lost. This is embarrassing. Losing this home game to the LA Lakers, a team that had 3 players, I think, playing their first game ever with the team tonight. Rory's barely been there. LeBron is not playing, and you lose. You give Ty Jerome 19 minutes of action, or I'm sorry, what is it, 18 minutes? 4 more minutes more than Kuminga. Moses Moody, we saw him in the first half for 2 whole minutes. And in those 2 minutes, he scored a bucket. He grabbed a rebound, and then we never saw him again. But Ty Jerome, we have to see for 18 minutes. And because he's efficient offensively, he gets to keep playing. The only stat that should matter is wins and losses. He doesn't result in wins. He doesn't. It's ridiculous. I apologize for the water. I am thirsty. When we come back, I'm going to try and catch up on the chat, see what people are writing about. I see everything going on and that's in front of me. I also need to talk about Gary Payton II and maybe rant a little more about the fact that the Warriors have to attack the buyout market if they want to have any shot of repeating as world champions. They have to be aggressive in the buyout market. Their competition right now is improving by the day. And the Warriors are in a position right now where the only improvement they've made is a player who probably will not show up until the playoffs. They got to do something. This stand pat BS is not going to fly if they want to repeat as world champions. We'll get into that and a lot more. Got to first talk about LinkedIn, who in these times, folks, where you're trying to scrape by and make money, if you're in that position, or if you're a small business owner or hiring manager looking for talent, LinkedIn is a valuable resource. It's incredibly clutch. They've got an overlay for the YouTube show I have to bust out here. There we go. And again, especially for anyone looking for talent for your growing organization, LinkedIn Jobs helps you quickly attract qualified candidates to your open job with targeting tools. They go beyond resume data by using insights from your job post, company, and their 875 million member profiles to put your post in front of the most qualified candidates. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to screen and rate applicants based on your job qualifications, all on one platform. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen today. After this show, go check out Game to Game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow me again, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Twitter at Dog Surf Roadshow. I know it's a funky name. It's just like my real name. It's just ridiculously weird, but you know, you're born with it. What are you going to do? I'm seeing some defeatism in the chat. Also seeing some references to gravity bongs. Wrong show, folks. I'm actually going on with Larry Krueger after this. We could talk about gravity bongs there if you want. But I'm far from waving a white flag when it comes to this Warriors team. Let's make that very clear. All right, as bad as tonight's game was, as bad as this season to a large extent has been, for a team attempting to repeat as a world champion, to be 28-28 and even 500 at the 56-game mark, not good, not good. I get it, but the Western Conference sucks right now. As bad as the Warriors are at 28-28, they're literally 2 games behind the Suns for the 5th seed. They're literally 2.5 games behind the Mavericks for the 4th seed. They're literally 3.5 games behind the Sacramento Kings for the 3rd seed. Heck, they're 7.5 games behind the Grizzlies for the 2 seed. They haven't had a single run this year. The reason why I'm so passionate about this Warriors team is because they still have a shot to repeat as world champions. You know what the bigger stake is in all this? I'm always a team first guy, right? Like I grew up loving the Warriors. I followed them. A huge part of player empowerment that I don't like is the fact that it oftentimes strips away the community feel and essence that comes with a team that's based largely in a community, in a region, in an area. So I'm a Warriors fan, but I also love the you-know-what out of Stephen Curry. He's one of the all-time greatest basketball players. He's a phenomenal human being. I have been insanely lucky to have interviewed him, met him quite a few times, and he's a class act. He is just a fantastic human being. He deserves nothing but the best. And a thought that comes to my mind that I'm obsessed with, and I want this to come to fruition, is Stephen Curry winning a 5th world championship. And the Warriors right now are in the running for that. Clay would also get a 5th title. Dre would also get a 5th world title. Steve Kerr would get his 10th world title. Andre Iguodala, Izal, who I don't know if he would deserve a ring, because I don't know behind the scenes how much of a coaching job he's doing, but as a player, he's doing jack,
Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
But even he would get a 5th ring with the Golden State Warriors. But Stephen Curry with the 5th ring, could you imagine what that would do to his legacy? Like he would be on Mount Rushmore. He would have one more title than LeBron. Just that alone just makes me giddy. But that's petty. In the grand scheme of things, his legacy would be so ridiculously shining, just glamorous, just glorious. Just a 5th ring puts Stephen Curry on Mount Rushmore. I want that. He deserves that. This team could still get that. But they have to get aggressive on the buyout market, because regardless of what happens with Gary Payton II, and all indications are he's going to stay with the team, and if that happens, I'm stoked. That's what should happen, in my humble opinion. They made that trade, even though he's not going to be available for a while. And look, the Trailblazers, I really hope that they answer for whatever it is that was going on there, because whatever it was, Gary Payton II should not have been playing. There must have been some sort of, even if it was not intentional, there must have been some sort of malpractice going on to be playing someone that clearly, based on all the news we're getting, should not be playing. That is malpractice. So regardless, I want Gary Payton II on this team. I think just for chemistry reasons alone, you've heard me talk about that enough. It would be a phenomenal addition for the Warriors. It would be a difference maker for the Warriors to have him, if not now, at least for the postseason. But the fact that he will not be ready anytime soon means the Warriors need help. All right. And if they just stand pat while this buyout market just, remains active, I just saw the news tonight that the Denver Nuggets just picked up Reggie Jackson, who just not that long ago, a few days, was with the Clippers. I mean, he's a damn good player. And Reggie Jackson is now the backup point guard for the Denver Nuggets. That's not good. That means everyone's improving. The Lakers tonight, without LeBron James, beat the Warriors. That's a drastically improved team. By the way, how many of you cringed watching Jared Vanderbilt go out there and just eat up the Warriors alive? A player. Sorry. I saw something in the chat there. And that completely distracted me. Jared Vanderbilt tonight. I mean, it's just annoying to see all these other teams just being aggressive, finding players that are improving rosters, while the Warriors just sit there and just diddle. Like, what are you? I don't get it. Like, Jared Vanderbilt, I'm pretty sure the Warriors could have traded for with a future first-round pick, couple second-round picks, a Moses Moody, maybe, I don't know. That's Bob Myers' job. Look at your assets, negotiate, make something happen. Jared Vanderbilt played 17 minutes tonight. He had 12 points and 8 rebounds on 5 of 7 shooting. Why don't the Warriors have Jared Vanderbilt? They got to do something. They cannot just stand pat, because the competition is getting better. And you made a beautiful move in getting Gary Payton II. But there's a strong possibility he's not going to be playing for a while. You got to do something. Even with Gary Payton II, Kylan and I, by the way, I don't know if I even mentioned this yet. Kylan Mills, or maybe I did at the beginning, will join me tomorrow. Once we know for certain what's going on with Gary Payton II, we'll have another bonus episode to talk about that. But the Warriors have to do something. They have to. And Nick J writes, that is a problem side. Bob has 2 feet out the door. I mean, if that's the case, then the Warriors are screwed. It's a house divided. And the commitment's not there. But we don't know that's the case, right? And so I don't want to just assume that. But and Eddie writes, we need Vanderbilt, not a broken down GP2. Well, when GP2 plays, well, just don't forget one thing about GP2, okay? He's one of the toughest human beings in the NBA. I mean, he was not supposed to come back for the NBA Finals when he broke his arm. That was not supposed to happen, all right? He was playing this year because of how tough he is. The guy can handle pain. Let's not overly concern ourselves with that. I want Gary Payton II back on this team, if for no other reason, just to improve the chemistry of this roster in terms of the bench. I mean, he brings so much to the table besides just what he brings on the court. I'm okay with the trade, but the Warriors have to do more. They have to. You just lost to a Laker team that didn't have LeBron James tonight at home. At home. Okay? And standing pat's just clearly not going to do it. It's an absolute joke. I want to play this soundbite real quick. This is from Steve Kerr after tonight's game, talking about the frustration of all the close losses, which, surprise, surprise, that's what this was. So let's hear what Steve Kerr has to say before we take another. No, wait, what? I'm sharing myself. What? Hold on. Apologies for that. Sometimes with a live show, stuff happens. Okay, so here's Steve Kerr. We got the right one this time. All right, talking about the close, losing yet another close game.
Where's kind of the frustration level this week? You know, obviously you have the loss in Portland. We know what's going on with the Gary situation. The loss tonight, just, you know, where is the frustration level right now?
Yeah, I think our guys are frustrated. You know, we've had so many close losses, and you know, we're right up against the All-Star break. I think our guys, like everybody around the league, they need a break, but they're frustrated that you know, we couldn't close out these last two games, and we just haven't been able to. You know, to string together enough wins to kind of create a little momentum and some separation in the standings. So our guys are definitely frustrated, but we'll keep going. We've got to just keep fighting, keep competing, and you know, we'll see where it all goes.
I'm tired of that. I mean, there's nothing. I haven't heard specifics from Kerr in a long time. I haven't heard answers that actually provide solutions in a long time. All I keep seeing is Ty Jerome eating up minutes that should be going to Jonathan Kuminga, that should be going to JaMychal Green. Andrew Wiggins should have played more. I would have even loved Kevon Looney playing more than 23 minutes tonight. Moses Moody only playing 2 minutes is a crime. Why is he not in Santa Cruz if you're just going to let him rot on the bench like that? Make sense of this, Mr. Kerr. Please, coach, make sense of this. For one day, things made sense when they made the move for Gary Payton II. And when we come back, we'll get into that a little more in terms of what's going to happen with him and just what's going on. I want to provide some clarity if possible. First, got to talk about a new sponsor for this program, and that's FanDuel. I got to stop sharing my screen. Sorry about that. Let's get the overlay going. The Super Bowl is tomorrow, folks, and it's one of the biggest betting days of the year. FanDuel Sportsbook is where all that action is happening. But it's not just football you can bet on. It's also the midway point of the NBA season, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line, point scores, threes. Again, the Super Bowl's tomorrow, and there's thousands of options to choose from. Plus, FanDuel even lets you continue your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. It's like doubling down on blackjack, folks. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and the NBA.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. Just wrapping things up here. I'm going to join my pal Larry Krueger in just a moment if you want to continue the party over there. I want to play this soundbite real quick from Draymond Green. Talking about the frustration of the Golden State Warriors stuck with a 500 record. And again, the 56-game mark, that is concerning. The Warriors have 26 games remaining, if my math is correct. So here's Dre talking about, again, the frustration of the team just being mediocre right now. And on a personal note, shouldn't be. It's on them. Here's Dre.
Steve was saying how he senses just the way these last couple games have gone. close to All-Star break, there is a sense of frustration just not being able to close these out, build some momentum. Where's your pulse on the frustration level?
I think when you're losing games and you're 500, if you're not a 500 level team, it gets frustrating. But no one's going to feel sorry for us. You all right? Come on. You good? All right. No one's going to feel sorry for us. So it is what it is. You got to keep fighting and dig yourself out and find a way.
And I want a couple of things in the chat real quick that I would love to address because I keep seeing at least one of these. First of all, Studio 501 writes, there it is. I think the media is afraid to question Kerr on what others are supposedly doing that Moody isn't. The media should step up or step out. I agree. I've echoed those sentiments as well, particularly to the beat, to the pool of reporters that constitute the beat reporters. I mean, look, I will say this: it's a tricky situation they're in because you're dealing with Kerr day in, day out. You can't just be brazen and just throw out, incredibly difficult questions that he might interpret as being disrespectful or being aggressive. It's a fine line that you got to play when you're in that position. With that said, I think anyone who at least works in the media, certainly anyone I've spoken with, and a lot of the fans from who I've spoken to and from what I've read seem to agree with the sentiment that the beat reporters this year are just letting Kerr off the hook. I'm not hearing any of the questions that should be asked, in my humble opinion. Clearly, there's a lot of mystery going on, and journalists are supposed to expose the mystery. They're supposed to expose the truth, right? And we don't know a lot of things that are going on. I still don't know, for example, who was really responsible for drafting James Wiseman in the first place. That was a botched number 2 pick. I mean, was that actually Myers? Was that Lacob? How much of a role did Steve Kerr take in that? I know that was a few years ago, but it's certainly worth revisiting, given, again, they botched that number 2 pick. They got nothing for it when all said and done. So it's, I agree. I totally agree. And I do think that, to a sense, that, some of those individuals are afraid of the team. They care more about their relationship with the team than about, uncovering the truth. So I do agree with that. And then I have to address this as well, writes, if Poole could play point guard, there'd be no need for Ty Jerome. Here's my response to that, The Warriors are the defending world champions, meaning they won the title last year. Who was the backup point guard last year? I see this brought up a lot in defense of Ty Jerome. Like, well, they need a backup point guard. Who's going to play it? No, they don't need a backup point guard. First of all, when Steph is playing, I mean, he's your de facto point guard. Draymond Green can play point, and he is a point guard to a large sense offensively. Jordan Poole is, in essence, a point guard. Dante DiVincenzo is, in essence, a point guard. I mean, last year they had Chris Chiozza, who saw a fraction of the time and minutes that Ty Jerome sees this year. They don't need a backup point guard. The system that Steve Kerr runs, you always hear this a lot on the broadcast. They call it split action, right? And what the split action is a variation of the triangle offense that Phil Jackson used to run. And he developed that system from his mentor, or at least a coach he played for and worked with, Tex Winters, or Ted Winters, I'm sorry. And the system does not require a ball dominant player. The entire premise of the system is to constantly move the ball. And the moment the ball is moved into a new player's hands, the players who are then either passing the ball or are away from the ball are splitting off the action. And you continue with movement and screens until you find the most opportune opportunity to score. That's the beauty of the system, is that you don't need a ball-dominant traditional point guard. Why Steve Kerr is so smitten with Ty Jerome, I have no idea. That part is lost on me. I don't know why he thinks he needs a player who plays like that. It is absolutely not needed. What this team needs is defense. They need D. They need stops. They need an inside presence. Guess what category the Warriors lost in tonight? Yet again, points in the paint. Yet again. I mean, if I had started tackling this subject months ago, I'd be a complete broken record by now. And tonight they kept it close enough. They still lost, though, in terms of points in the paint. I believe 50-44, the Lakers beat them by. But guess what? They got outscored 50-44 in the paint by 6 points. They lost this game by 6 points, 109-103. It's not a coincidence. And no cap, when you say no, they need offense. Sorry, the data doesn't support that. All right, they're the number 2 team in the NBA in scoring. So I don't know where you're getting that from. They need defense, and that's why Gary Payton II was a perfect fit. Just to quickly answer the Gary Payton II situation, he was in the fourth quarter. He was sitting next to Mike Dunleavy Jr., assistant GM. I don't know if Bob Myers eventually came to the section as well and sat with him, but Gary Payton II has a locker. He's actually now has number 8. That is what was assigned to him, my favorite number. So for people wondering if he was going to get number 0 again, yeah, he's 00. It's just the zeros are not horizontal, now they're vertical. It was a number 8. Yeah, he's going to stay. Is what I'm trying to say. Gary Payton II will be a part of this team. All indications are so. Now, in terms of what could happen with this 14 trade, because if you're the Golden State Warriors, you got screwed. All right. Someone brought up, and in fact, if someone in the chat, I forgot to do my research on this. I do apologize, but I saw on Twitter someone make a reference to this back in 2018, I believe, or maybe 2019, when the Cavaliers and the Celtics made the trade involving Kyrie Irving, and they got back Isaiah Thomas. They learned after they got Isaiah Thomas that he had a hip issue. And it's the same issue a hip issue that basically derailed his entire career. He never came back in the same way, even though he's still offensively phenomenal, but he was never really the same player since. And but the Cavaliers were compensated for that in some regard. I just can't remember how it was done, but there's got to be some sort of retribution here. There's got to be some sort of make good the NBA does to the Warriors, whether that's in terms of punishing the Trailblazers, whether that's in terms of like a compensatory pick, whatever that is, there has to be a make good. The chat's on fire right now. All right. So, but the point is, Gary Payton II, while the Warriors have until 6:30 p.m. Yes, tomorrow, Pacific time, to make a decision about Gary Payton II, because he failed the physical, they have the right to cancel the trade. Part of what complicates this, and grilled cheese, by the way, even though it's true, it's his 5th core injury in 6 years. Not all the injuries were that serious. And like I said, he's gonna heal. Okay, I'm not like you can't just assume that he's just damaged goods, that he's never gonna be his old self again. I think he's gonna be fine. So I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. But the question is there gonna be some sort of other compensation? And I think more importantly, what the hell are the Warriors gonna do in terms of the buyout market? They got to do something. They got to do something. I said this earlier in the show, and I'll say it again to wrap it up. They got to do something. If this team does not want to let Stephen Curry down and help him win that 5th title to go on Mount Rushmore, I want Mount Rushmore for Stephen Curry. Help the man out. Seek out the buyout market. Whether it's Serge Ibaka, whether it's Kevin Love, whether it's Dwayne Dedmon, whether it's DeMarcus Cousins, whether it's Dwight Howard, whoever the hell it is, help this team out. They need help. And the answer is not Anthony Lamb. No offense. I don't mind if you give him a deal, but you got to get someone else who's better. The answer sure is, you know what, is not Ty Jerome. Okay, you need some talent. Some real NBA talent, all right? It's driving me insane. And for those of you that are wondering, well, can the Warriors kind of like backtrack and just get Sadiq Bey instead? A few people have asked that. No, unfortunately. If the Warriors renege on this deal, which you have the right to, the whole deal collapses at that point, and no one gets anything. Except for James Wiseman coming back, which would not be awkward at all, right? Next level, 100% don't agree with you that Moody can't play defense. I don't know where you come up with that myth. That is your opinion. You're entitled to it. I just do not agree with that at all. Elise Feldman, who writes, "Go Lakers. I'm going to suspend your account. If you ever come back in here and with that blasphemy, I will ban you for life." Okay, you're in a timeout now. Sorry, I'm being facetious doing that. Although I did put you in a timeout just because I'm not in a good mood right now. I do agree. Richard Sarpong, Moody can play defense. I've never once seen him blow coverages. I don't know what the hell people are talking about. If you want to be a Kerr apologist, that's your right. I just do not agree with it at all. And Joe is correct. Moody has a 7'1" wingspan. That is true. Moody has been actually the only thing that's ever been said about Moody from his teammates, from the coaching staff, from everyone who isn't a fan that's just hating on him because Kerr isn't playing him. They've done nothing but commend him. They said nothing but praise for him. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, I'm going to go see my buddy Larry Krueger. We'll be back at this tomorrow with Kylan Mills. Once we know for sure what's going on with Gary Payton, I'm sure you folks would love to see Kylan and get her perspective as well. So follow us on Twitter at Locked On Dubs. That's when we announce what time the shows are on and everything that's going on. And follow me on Twitter at Dog Surf Road Show. Is there anything else? I think we got it all. I'm sorry, folks. There's nothing to say sorry for. It's not my fault the Warriors blew a game they should have won. This has been one of those years. That's all I can say about that. This has been one of those years. But I will say this. Don't give up hope. All right? The Warriors still have Steph and Curry, and they still have Draymond Green. They still have Klay Thompson. They still have Andrew Wiggins. Jordan Poole had a fantastic game tonight. He's starting to put it together. Jonathan Kuminga needs to play more than 14 damn minutes. That is ridiculous. JaMychal Green's looking good. I mean, folks, there are reasons to be optimistic here. Dante DiVincenzo is on the team. I mean, they haven't blown it and lost him yet. That's not going to come until the offseason. So there is still reason to be optimistic, folks. There's still a lot of season left. But the Warriors have to make some additions in the buyout market. They have to. I mean, otherwise you're just squandering one of Steph's last prime years. You're just squandering it. You're just throwing it away. And that's a damn crime, in my humble opinion. Thank you, everyone. And again, go check out the Krug Show if you want to follow, if you're not done for the night. Happy Saturday night, everyone. Bye. Late.